the moral of the story is I was tattooing like a Poseidon or a Neptune on his inner thigh. It took all day because he kept getting up and drinking and getting drunk and fighting, yelling, all these things. The stencil was smearing off. I'm trying to just get this thing done. I end up tattooing Poseidon and I give him 6 fingers instead of 5 by accident because the stencil was smudging. Because like all these things. Hey there folks, I'm happy to bring this video to you. This video is on a leg sleeve that I wrapped up not that long ago. It's a Greek style leg sleeve. We did this tattoo on my client Casey. I also did a chest piece on him maybe about a year ago, and then we just wrapped up his leg. So at this point in time, I've probably seen Casey, I don't know, 15 times. So there's a lot going on in this tattoo. I would say we have about 10 sessions put into this tattoo. We had 8 scheduled, and I knew that was kind of a long shot because historically a leg sleeve takes me about 10 sessions. So I did have to find the time to kind of sneak him into the schedule and get those extra 2 sessions in. But we did it. The tattoo got done. There was maybe, I think, 4 total back-to-back sessions on there. So at one point in time we did 2 back-to-back, and then the last 2 sessions to wrap this tattoo up were back-to-back. And again, we always finish in like the most painful part. It was 2 days back-to-back on like the inside of the thigh and the back of the thigh, but Casey did it and he did great. So when my books opened back in September, Casey went ahead and reached out to me and he said, hey, listen, I want to get a leg sleeve done. I'm thinking like a Greek mythology. For the most part, go nuts with it. Just you let the creative juices flow. You go ahead and just make it. So I started working on this design well before I saw Casey and just kind of trying to create the best thing that I could create for him. And this tattoo actually took a few shifts. You know, I kind of have these mental ideas of how I think it's gonna look, and then once I actually kind of create it, it was one thing. He said that was great because he's awesome. And then I showed it to him, and you know, when he showed up for his first appointment, I pretty much ended up scratching everything that I had made for him except for the lion on the knee, because while what I created for him worked, it was just missing the mark by that much. So we went ahead and we just did the lion on the knee for, you know, session 1. And I said, hey, you know, when I see you the next go around, I'm gonna have something different for you, something a little bit more fine-tuned. And that go around was it. That was the one. This is the one we were gonna use. But the 3 weeks before his appointment, when I was working on this design, I was already kind of brainstorming and experimenting with some of this stuff. So it wasn't anything that I just kind of pulled out of thin air or anything like that. I had already spent time kind of, okay, hey, let's put Zeus right here. Okay, let's look for a different statue of Zeus. Maybe we could get a better one. You know what? I think this angle fits a little bit better right there. Just kind of moving stuff around like that, trying different things. So it wasn't necessarily anything out of the blue. So we have a lion on the knee, Zeus up top, these cool little pillars, these like women pillars on the side, and then we have Atlas on the lower half. Atlas was a really fun piece to do. It was all fun. Overall, just really pleased with the tattoo. Casey sat extremely well, sat for a long time, long days every single time. So this leg sleeve is going to be broken into 2 videos. We'd be losing a lot of stuff if we compress it down to one, 15-minute video. So there will be a part B, so keep your eyes out for that. So go ahead, like, comment, subscribe if you haven't, share with your friends, And maybe this video will, you know, I don't know, inspire you to maybe get your leg done. Here we go.
Probably didn't shave enough area, my bad. Nah, dude, it's all good. I'm just sorry, some of it's not going to be numb, but what I could do is line this thing out, throw some shading, and then,
well, I mean, I've had a majority of this area, like up with this flower and stuff, like,
yeah.
So I mean, up here, even though it's not necessarily numb, that's not, that was cake, like there was nothing wrong with it. I don't know how this area is, but I mean, I can power through it. I mean,
okay.
It's not that much of a...
All good right there?
Yep.
And in this case, it's a bit pedestrian, but Venus has other qualities.
He's a douchebag of the highest order.
What's this at?
It's probably like between a 1 and 2.
Really?
And now it's like wherever you are now is not there. It's like a 1 more so.
And I'm spitballing here, so why don't we pay it off in Canadian dollars and save ourselves some money? All right, just so you know, without the topic, it's $50,000 American, $70,000 roughly Canadian dollars. How are we going to come up with $120,000? Oh, no, you don't add them together. Technically,
Dude, so I used to tattoo this guy. This was years ago at this point, but he wanted like all his tattoos was like Greek gods. That was what he wanted. And up to this day, man, he's like one of the most painful, difficult clients like I've ever had. And every single time I tattooed him, I was like, I'm never tattooing this guy ever again. And then he'd come in. The problem was, dude, when he would drink, he was like, what's the term? Is it Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, right? So when he was sober, he'd come in sober, he'd be like super chill. And that's what would make me tattoo him again, because he'd come in sober and be great. And I was like, all right, it's whatever, I guess. I don't know. He was having a bad night or a bad day or something. And then he shows up, and he used to start to drink. The shop that I worked at, there was a bar next door. So he used to be like, hey man, I gotta go over to my car really quick and grab something. I'll be right back.
Yeah, okay.
And I'm like, okay. And then he'd just go next door and like take shots and then come back like 20 minutes later or whatever. There was definitely a few times I'm sitting in my chair and I'm like,
should I be tattooing this?
no, I'm like, dude, where is this guy? You know?
Yeah.
But the thing is, like, it would get worse and worse, like, as the session would go on, you know?
Yeah.
Next thing you know, the dude's, like, freaking hammered. And, moving like crazy, and he would get aggressive when he was drunk. That was the biggest issue, was he was an aggressive drunk. And so he's chilling there getting tattooed, and he like looks over to his boyfriend and he just starts talking a bunch of crap to him, and the boyfriend's just like sitting there like, what did I even do? Like, and he was just quiet, just like sitting there. He was actually kind of had a very timid personality.
Probably always embarrassed.
And the guy's like saying all these crazy things to him, and the dude's still kind of like hanging in there while the guy's saying all these things to him. And then like, next thing you know, he's like jumping out of the off the table, and they're like outside of the shop yelling at each other. Like, and he's like trying to fight with his boyfriend, dude. And I'm like, I'm just sitting there like, I'm never tattooing this guy ever again.
And you came back next month.
And then I didn't see him, dude. I didn't see him. And I didn't see him. Anyways, dude, this, you know how the story goes. He comes in sober to make his appointments and like fools me into thinking. And the problem was too, though, I was like his guy. Like at this point, I was like, I was his dude. Yeah, I was his guy. You know. And the moral of the story is, I was tattooing like a Poseidon or a Neptune on his inner thigh. It took all day because he kept getting up and drinking and getting drunk and fighting, yelling, all these things. The stencil was smearing off. I'm trying to just get this thing done. I end up tattooing Poseidon, and I give him 6 fingers instead of 5 by accident because the stencil was smudging. Because like all these things, and I could sort of kind of make out the fingers, and I did it, and I didn't think anything of it, and he mentioned it like later, like next tattoo. He's like, "Hey man," he goes, "You gave him 6 fingers." And I was like, what? My heart sank a little bit because I don't want to hear that.
Yeah.
I don't want to know I did
Even
that.
if he's not like a good person.
Yeah. It's about like me and my ability, man, you know? And I was like, what do you mean? And he showed me. But he kind of knew his shenanigans, so he was like, it's cool, man.
Yeah.
He's like, it's cool, you know?
It's unique, right?
Yeah. I think he just knew that, like, all these crazy things that...
You're not trying to tell me you put 6 fingers on Atlas, are you?
No. But that's what made me think of it was the fingers. But before, I was like, let me count these.